Buongiorno, my dears. Happy Monday. How are you feeling out there? How are you feeling? It's a beautiful, wild ride of being a human being right now. So I just wanted to offer some validation that we're getting triggered in beautiful ways left and right now, but they're all really good triggers because, the person that we were before this eclipse portal is so different than the person that we are now. And it's happening from the inside out. It's really beautiful. We're also still in a Mercury retrograde. So my recommendation for you this week is to, when you are triggered, when something comes up that bothers your human avatar, that is like frustrating, or, it really is like a wince. It's something. And, for a lot of people, I'll offer some examples. There's some mother and father issues going on. There are some relationships that are changing. There are some, past versions of ourselves. People know us as a certain other version of ourselves. And because we can't soapbox our awakening or the newer version of ourselves, sometimes you'll come into contact someone who has a preconceived notion of who you are and what it is that you're saying because they're not at the same vibration as you. Does that make sense? I think so. So I'm going to age myself with this reference, but I want you to Saved by the Bell yourself when a trigger happens. I want you to, stop, and definitely go do some duck going on Saved by the Bell and Zach Morris yourself, because it's a beautiful, beautiful show. So I want you to say, pause when you get triggered. And I want you to watch yourself from above and watch your brain, because you'll be able to watch your human avatar in a way to see where the healing is. What do you mean by any of this, Sarah? So I'll give a little bit of a personal reference for me when I get triggered, or when that last week when I got triggered and something came up. So I love driving around the back shore. It's just a few times a week. It just clears my mind. And definitely, if you're not from Gloucester, just do a little bit of research on like a backshore drive and you'll understand why. It's just like the most beautiful view I could ever express. And it still buckles me every single time. I don't get bored of it. And so they're doing some construction over on the road. And there was an area that was a one lane because they're doing construction. So I have like two police officers, like one in one area and one in the other area. And the first one just, it was a rainy, gross kind of sputtering, not gross, it's April, so like April showers, and so it was just a really cloudy, sputtering day. And I have these two gentlemen that are working outside, these incredible construction workers that are literally building our earth. I couldn't have more respect for the gentlemen from Gloucester and in this area. They are so enlightened and so wonderful. I have a lot of compassion and respect for them. And so I'm driving along. Police number one, he said, Sarah, go ahead. And so I'm scooting. And then by the time I got to police number two, there's a little bobcat like getting a little bit of more dirt. And I'm just kind of like sitting and I'm in my space. Like, do I go? Do I stay? Do I scoot around him? So he kind of went in to get dirt. And I tried to go thinking that that's what I was doing because I was not getting the direction that I needed. And then I had to like pause because he backed right out. So like I didn't understand that he was trying to be efficient and get her out of the way. I thought he was going to take a step one and then I take step two. And, there wasn't really much direction coming for us. So by the time that I was scooting, number two just goes like this. And so my rational Aries Ram brain ego conjunct Jupiter, like my natal chart, I have an Aries Sun conjunct Jupiter. So I'm just like, let's do this. And so my brain, and I was cognizant enough to be like, I just got triggered. So I just floated above myself and watched my brain being, and my brain was like, you didn't give me direction. I was trying to be cognizant of the person working. I'm trying to do my best here. You weren't telling me to go or not. What the F is going on? And I'm just listening to my brain. I'm like, okay. What's underneath that, Sarah? I'm listening. I'm like, Sarah is very triggered right now. So let's let her brain, because this is very efficient. This is how we can very efficiently get to the root of it. So stay with me here, please. My brain is braining. And it came to an incident many years ago, where I was at a 5-way stop and there was two, not police, but two like traffic people kind of directing traffic. And basically, like long and short of it, two people told two cars to go, myself included. We both went. There was a very minor collision, and immediately, I love this going off, immediately like the two people got together and they were like, you thought we told you to go and we didn't, and blah 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 blah. And nobody was like, long and short of it, nobody ended up being at fault, but they just like, by the time everyone had gotten there, they're like, it wasn't our fault, it wasn't our fault, it wasn't our fault. And there was just like, so that was a wound of mine that I had forgotten about, where I was like, I wasn't wrong, but they needed to make sure that they were not legally told that they were wrong, and it was a big to-do. And so my human, in the moment, driving by, was like, you were right, nobody was telling you what to do. And it was a trigger from something that was not happening. Does that make sense? And all I had to do was look at it. We don't have to deep dive into these things as much as we used to anymore. We have to be very efficient with our processes, but we have to remember that I needed to remember that wasn't happening in this moment. There was a wound that I just needed to look at, recognize that's not happening anymore. And maybe this, current number 2 guy was just like, okay, just slow down. I can't see very well. You probably can't see very well. Just slow down. So to wrap all that back around again, that's how triggers are going to work. This is something, and my guides are really reminding me that, and I want to offer this to parents of youngsters right now, that we can't do the wait until you get home to feel your feelings anymore. And for my homeschoolers, a lot of you understand that language. So please comment and share below with the group if you are safe and if you are interested, to let us know that we can't wait anymore. Presence is presence is presence. We can't push our feelings into the future too much anymore. We have to feel them immediately. But the faster we feel them, the faster we release it. And that's it. We don't have to set up multiple therapy sessions. We don't have to set up multiple, like, okay, I got like 1 or 2 sessions max, gets to the root of it. And we understand, okay, this is why maybe sometimes I act this way. And it might be a little awkward to act as the more healed version of myself. But I'm going to give myself time between action and reaction to create a response and transmute that reaction. So give yourself a moment and walk away for a few minutes. I work in restaurants, and I know that for a lot of my service workers, we can get so triggered by our tables sometimes. We can get so triggered by, it's a busy Saturday night, you've been here for 2.5 hours, oh my God, how do you not understand what's going on? They don't. So you take yourself off stage, off the floor, go to the bathroom, cry a little if you're a fire sign, slap yourself across the face a little if you're a water or an earth or an air sign. Actually, if you're an air sign, talk to yourself and just kind of stem it out and shake it out. But then get back out there. Be like, they don't understand. It's not about them. This is my reaction. I'm doing the best that I can with the resources that I have available to me. And you can't lean in to a customer and explain to them what's going on. You just have to let it happen the way that it's going to happen. So a lot of this is our stuff that's coming up right now. And I know this is a little bit of a longer Monday video, but I really wanted to offer one more thing that's happening, is that we've changed so quickly, each and every one of us. And so sometimes, especially in Aries season, Aries runs the head, so it's very egoic. In Aries season, we'll get triggered by someone that maybe has a preconceived notion of who we are. And that might upset us. And that might be like, I got to explain to them who I am. I got to explain to them where I come from, what my traumas are. No, we can't. We can't. When we get to the tail end of our healing, and this is the parable that I wanted to give. And again, I'm aging myself, but do you remember the show Peanuts? The little, like, the kiddos. There was a peanut called Pigpen, and he had all of this. He was like dirty, and there was always like dust around him. When you're near the tail end of healing your trauma, when you're close to the end of like being able to laugh about it, the end of the, steps of grief is acceptance. When you're close to the tail end of healing something specifically, this is very important. That healing, it's like you fought it out, and that smell is around you. And so you're going to have beings, because we're animals, it's just our reptilian brain that tells us otherwise, we're going to have maybe conscious, maybe unconscious beings that are drawn to that smell, and they're going to trigger you. And this is a new opportunity for you to use all of the tools I just gave you to say, okay, stop. I'm recognizing that you remind me of someone that really hurt me in the past. This could be a mother-father thing. I'm recognizing that I'm getting very triggered. I'm recognizing that I'm a new healed version of myself. I still have that machete in my toolbox and I could whip it out and I could really attack this person, but they have absolutely no idea that they've triggered me. They have absolutely no idea what I'm going through. So I'm going to utilize my new healed, emotionally intelligent, communicative responses, especially in Mercury retrograde. Maybe call in a buddy and be like, hey, does this sound okay? I'm about to send a pretty intense email. And also for my Libra sun, moon, and rising, be very, very cognizant of the fact that you might get triggered uncomfortably or inappropriately by emails and correspondence within text and emails. I just have to highlight that. Take as much time as you need to go through this entire crescendo and then come back to like, no, I can just say yes, or I can just say no, and I don't have to explain myself in any way. You can just let that be that. And just say that's not for me, but thank you. I think that resonated. I think that hit. I know it's a lot longer than my normal Monday videos, but things are happening so quickly, so I want to offer as much information as I can, some validation for you. Pardon me. Be very aware of head stuff going on. Head stuff, and then when we go into Taurus season, it's going to be throat stuff. Aries run is the ram. You can tell that I'm an Aries sun, and then the Taurus is the throat, la gola. So let's really, like, headaches, dizziness, confusion, brain fog, ringing in the ears, and some throat stuff might just be coming up to get cleared out. So I just wanted to offer that validation for you. Sleepless nights or sleeping like it's a food group and crying and all that good stuff. I know. Happy awakening. I love you. Let me know what you're going through and how I can best support you. Ciao, darlings.